Hello crafters! For tonight's Christmas in July card, we're going to create this lovely Christmas pinwheel tower card using the Festive Cheers photopolymer stamp set and dies. And this is how it works. It sits like this. This could be your first page. I have this page here so that you could sign it if you wanted to. Hi, I'm Joan Heberlein, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Papercrafts. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. I made this project once before, and I found that it was easy to do, but it's tedious because you've got to do something on each of these pages. In order to save us some time, I did up the pages already, so all we have to do is these two pages here. Actually, we've got to stamp this piece right here and then these two pages. So let me go ahead and get our crafts ready for us. We're going to take a piece of cardstock. Our first piece is going to be 5 inches by 6 7/8. So let me get my trimmer out. Our trimmer has 2 blades on it, and this is our scoring blade. It's a lighter tan, and then the darker tan is our trimming blade. And they both are on the same track, and they can move them all the way out so that they don't interfere with each other. Now I've added a third blade, and I've got foil and glitter written on there. So I know that when I'm going to cut foil or glitter to use this one, because it will dull the blade. And what I've done is I've taken this, I use this blade until it starts showing that it's dull, and then I switch it to here and put a brand new blade on. That way, we're not going to be dulling our blade when we go and use glitter paper or foil. We've got this at 5 inches. Then we need to cut it at 6 7/8. And we can actually open this up all the way out to 17 1/4 inches or 43.8 centimeters. And then it can fold right back up. There's 3 measurements on here, one at the top, one in the center, and one at the bottom. So if you're right-handed or left-handed, you can switch that around and you'll be able to use it that way. So next we're going to score this piece. No, we need our second cut, which is 6 7/8. Then we're going to score this piece. So we've got this cut right now at 5 inches by 6 7/8, or 12.7 centimeters by 17.5 centimeters. We're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches, and 3.5 inches. Or that's going to be 1.3 centimeters, 3.8 centimeters, 6.4 centimeters, and 8.9 centimeters. And I'm going to flip this around now and do the 1.5. Then we'll do the 2.5 and the 3.5. The next we want to do is get our wings for the card. So we need to cut 3 of these wings, and they're going to be 3 3/8 inches by 5 inches. So we're going to cut this at 5 inches. And then 3 3/8 inches. 1, 2. And we'll cut the third one out of another piece of cardstock. So that's 5 inches. And 5 inches comes out to 12.7 centimeters. And 3 3/8 inches is 8.6 centimeters. Now that should be all our cardstock that we need. Then we're going to burnish this. We're going to fold it on the score lines. I've got the first one right here at 1/2 inch. And I like to burnish it on both sides to give it a nice crisp edge. I was just double checking to make sure that the camera was going, because I turned it off when I said I needed that second piece of cardstock. And I wanted to make sure that I turned it back on. And we got to do 2 more yet. And the last one. Then we're going to take this, we're going to take the third fold line, 1, 2, 3. We're going to fold it over, and then we're going to put glue on this first up to that first 1/2 inch mark. And here's our glue gun. This glue gun has our glue in here. So we have Tombow, let me turn it this way. We have Tombow Mono liquid glue in this glue gun. You can find this in our catalog. This is not a Stampin' Up! Product. This is made by My Sweet Begonia. And I really like it because I have rheumatoid arthritis. It's very difficult for me to squeeze this bottle, but this glue gun makes it a lot easier. I'm just going to squeeze it out here a little bit. I'm barely squeezing. Look at that stream there. And then we're going to fold that under, and we're just going to close it up. And line up these sides here. And we're going to use our bone folder just to make sure we get all those glue bubbles out of there. Then next we want to do is put our first wing on there. And I have it right here for us. Right here. And we're going to glue this down. Now you'll notice this wing has more branches than this original one did. So they only have 1 on each of the pages here. And I added this second branch on here to give more dimension even. And then on this smaller inset, I only have the 1 on there again. Okay, we're going to put glue on that. And let me get my silicone mat out. This will keep my work surface clean. Glue will stick to it, whether using glue or tear and tape or Seal Plus. It all comes off very easily. Now I'm going to just line up the top edges here with the ones that are on this one right here. The paper we're using here is our Designer Series paper. This one right here. This is our Garden Poetry Designer Series paper. And it has different shades. And I grabbed the 2 shades that were in our green here. I'm going to take our little buddy here. And that's going to just keep it from having excess powder sticking on there. Get our gold or silver embossing powder out. And I will be showing you how to stamp and die cut the ornaments once we get these wings done here. So we have to do more of those on that first page. I'm going to do a little bit of the silver powder on here. That cleaned up really, really well. Then we're going to bring in our heating gun, and we're just going to heat that up. Doesn't take very long. It's just going to turn shiny. And once it starts, it goes very, very quickly. There it's starting. It's spreading. And I'm just going to come from this side just to make sure we didn't miss anything. There, we've got that done. Holly Jolly Greetings, and it's a little bit warm yet. And I don't want to pull that card away because that heat loosens the glue. So I'm just holding that, pressing that down there, letting that set up again. There, that should be good now. Okay, now we're going to put our glue on here. And that's going to be this one right here. The Noel. We're just lining up this edge here and this edge up here. This one has the 2 branches on there as well. And put glue on this. Oh, I see we got some powder on here, so let me just get that out from there. I have another mat so that we don't have to mess with that powder. That's from the embossing powder. Okay, let me move this over here and we'll get this glued down. And we'll put it this way. I'm going to tell you how I did the Noels, how I spaced it on there. I put the end down first. I knew I wanted that to be about 1/8 of an inch from this edge right here. That's about 1/4 of an inch in from the fold line. And then I did the same thing down here with the L. And then I doubled that distance for the E. And then I had this space in here and I just centered that inside of there. Okay, that's done. And then we're going to do our last card. And this one has that already, and this one we've already stamped, so it says Deck the Halls on there. Again, we're going to center it on the card base so that they line up on the edges there. And then we can put this down in the center as well. This would be a good card to use the tear and tape with to make sure that these pages don't pull apart. But I also like the glue because you've got that wiggle room with the glue. Okay, now we're back to this page. That's going to be this one right here. So we're going to have to do some work now. The stamps we're going to need is for our ornaments is this one here, and this one here, the smallest one. And then we'll have the ones to do the silver on there that correspond with those three. And then the dies we're going to need this one for that ornament. That's the small ornament. That's that middle size ornament. And we're going to need this for the strings to tie it. And those are the ornament caps. And we're going to need one of these too. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp this first. And this piece is cut at 3 1/8 inches by 4 3/4 inches, or 7.9 centimeters by 12.1 centimeters. And we need sending cheer, and we're going to use real red for that. And I'm moving it all around so that we don't get a divot in the middle of our stamp pad. I'm just going to put sending cheer right about here. Then we're going to bring in our Stampin' scrub. We need to clean this up when we're done stamping with them. And I'm going to use our Stampin' Mist. And this is going to be the wet side right here. There's a raindrop up there so that if I close it, when I open it up the next time, I'll know that that's the wet side. And then this has a sunbeam there, so I'll know that's the dry side. And then we also need to stamp these 3 ornaments. So this is for the small ones, and that's for the larger ones. Let's go ahead and bring this out again and clean these stamps up. You're going to say it's pink, it's still pink. And that's because the ink will stain the dies. And I can show you that we are clean. See? Then next we're going to do is bring in our silver embossing powder and get these done up. And I can do all 3 of them at once here. Sorry, my head's in the way. I want to try and get that somewhat centered. Now you're saying you didn't use the powder, and I'm doing that intentionally. On my first card, I didn't use the powder, not on purpose, and I noticed that little specks were all over the ornament when I didn't use the powder, and it looked wonderful. So we're going to continue with that on all the ornaments. It gives it that old antique the look. And let's get our Stampin' Scrub right here, and we'll just clean those off real quick. I'll do it off camera. There we go. Got that first one easy. Careful, Joan. You don't want to rub it off with your fingers. And I'm just going to take this little bit here and rub off that powder that's on the outer edges, because I don't want it to show. Alright, and then we can go ahead and heat these up. And this will work really well. I like to do it in the back side here, get it warmed up a little bit, and then just in the front. And it'll work like that other one where it just starts. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Then we need to cut these with our cut and emboss machine. So here's our leaf, and there's nothing on the back side of it. I want to add some of our adhesive sheets. It makes it a lot easier to use those leaves. So this is one of that sheet, and it's cut down so it just fits inside here. And then I got another piece to fit across the top here. And I'm going to do this side here first. Down here. This is a shiny edge, and then this is the sticky side right here. One more. We got two sticky sides here. And I'm just going to trim this off because I don't want it to gum up my equipment here. So let me just trim this piece off from here. These are non-Stampin' Up, and I know that they have a bright orange handle on them. I grabbed those for my adhesive scissors so that I don't gum up my good scissors. Okay, so we've got that. What we want to do is we want to put it on here. We want to use this sandwich right here. That's the number 1 plate, number 2, our cardstock, our die, and I'm going to squish it way up here because I want to get 2 of these out of here. And then this is the second number 2. And then we just crank it. And then we'll just take this second piece, bring it right back in here, and we'll lay it right down here. Just to get that second branch going. Then we need to do our silver pieces, and I love to save paper. And I know that this is like a really small piece, but I know when I do things with silver, they're usually small. So that's why I kept it, because I can put these on here and get what I need out of the project. These are the little ornament holders, the little hook that's at the top of the ornament. It slid, so let me get that back up. Crank that out. And now I'm ready to give up on this piece here. I'm going to say that we've got just about everything out of there that I can. So I will just throw this piece away once I get my ornament hooks out of there. And I have one more piece of silver here that I need to do the strings. And it needs to be long, so we're going to use this one. I am going to put a piece of tape down because that wants to twist on me. We're going to use our Post-it label cover-up tape. It sticks securely, removes cleanly, and you can use this over and over. I think we are done with our die cutting, so I'm going to put this away. Need to get those off from there. And I'll pull these out. I'm going to pop these pieces out. That is the dead material. Now we can assemble this card, the rest of it. So this we want to put up here. We can go ahead and glue that down. If I can find my silicone mat. And I want to leave 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And we'll get our bone folder and just get all those glue bubbles out. And then we're going to take one of these and lay that down. And I'm going to take this, pull this off like that. So much easier than putting glue on those little pieces. Unfortunately, I do have to get these side ones done. Let's see if I can't get it like this. Okay, so then this one is going to go up here, and you want some of the needles to be pointing downwards, which isn't too hard to do. I just put it in sideways, and then it's just hanging down like that. We'll come back with this one to glue over the top once we have this little ornament hanging there, once we get that done in there. We don't have a whole lot of room there. I should have had the sending cheer brought down a little bit lower. We'll make it work. So we're going to take one of these and we're going to glue at the top portion of it, like this. And I leave it long until I get it attached, and then I clip it off. We want it to go right about here. I'm actually going to go up to this branch because, yes, I'm going to go underneath this leaf right, or this needle here. Just pick this up here. And I'm going to go underneath there. And that can come back down. So that's hanging onto that branch. And then we got to attach, what did I do with the ornament? Here it is. We want that to be put right about there. So I'm going to trim that up. I'm just going to cut it right here. It's okay to have the extra down there. So let's go ahead and glue this. And we need to have one of our things for the top. So this is one of those ornament things that we just die cut. And we're going to set it in there this way. So we've got that hooked like that, only we want it the other way. So we're going to put it this way on there, like that. And I'm pushing it up as high as I can get it right now. And we'll put glue on this. Now you probably see why I did all the other pages separately, because having to do all these little steps adds up. Trying to get my head out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm getting this ornament holder at the top, trying to get it up there closer to that pine needle, so it looks like it's just on the ornament itself rather than halfway down into the ornament. All right, then I'm going to just bring some glue underneath there to make that stick, because that wasn't done with any adhesive sheet, so we need glue to get that to stick in place. So that's good. Then we've got the other side. We'll go ahead and glue this down right away. And we're going to line this up with the white edges. We're leaving 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides, but I want to make sure that it's lining up with the white edges. It should if we did this one in the right position as well. Then we're going to take that other one and we're going to put that down. It's sticking to my fingers. And we want this one done just right about like this. And I want to cut this off right about there. And as you can see, these are attached, so I have to cut that off up there as well. So So I'm going to snip this here, and then we'll snip this right about here. And then we're going to add that down here. And I'm just going to bring this up and finish so it's a little more lined up. Okay, so that one's done. You can put this on here. This one doesn't have any glue on it. It's not tacky. And we want to have this put right about here. So I'm going to do the same thing, trimming that off right here and here. And then we're going to just add glue in the center portion because we don't need to have glue all the way out to the end of the pine needles because we want them to be able to raise up a little bit. So that's as much glue as I'm going to put on there. And then the pine needles can raise up. Oh, let me get this. I didn't trim that very good. That looks a lot better. I don't want it on the page. And then we're just going to line that up right about there. That one's right in the tree. We really should have had that a lot lower, but can't do anything about it now. And we can put a second one on here once we get the ornaments done on this. So we have two ornaments we got to put on there. This one here, and this one here, and another pine needle. Let's just be right about here. So we're going to put glue on this one first, and that's going to be that longer stem. So I'm going to add quite a bit. And we're just going to attach it right there. And it's going to go right about here. So we don't really need to trim it. We can use the rest of that stem there. Glue that, and we need our ornament hook. As of July 10th, you can order the new Metallic Magic. That's Stampin' Up's hot foil system. And it's available for you now. I have not ordered it yet. I've got a lot of things I've ordered from the online exclusives, so I'm going to go through that before I order Metallic Magic. But you're able to order it if you like. And we're going to do this next one. I'm going to put this underneath here, right up to this one right there. And we can put this one right about there. And we need our hook again. Let's see, a little bit higher. That looks good. And we're just going to put a little glue on the back of that ornament thing, the holder, and then flip it back down and adjust where it's going to land. And it's sticking to my fingers because I have glue on my fingers now. There, that looks good. Then we just need to add this, and we should be done. So I'm going to add this on this page here. I know we didn't do it on the other pages, but I'm okay with that. So it's going to add a little more there. I'm just going to straighten that out. Perfect. I think we are done. I hope you liked this project as much as I did. As you can see, you can use just about any stamp set for this type of project. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you enjoyed today's video, would you do me two favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest. These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back next Sunday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Central Time. come and check out the next Christmas in July card. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.